Welcome to the Catapult Lockdown Virtual Salon program. My name is Alex Martínez Suárez, and I'm an architect, curator, and researcher from the Dominican Republic. And I am thrilled to be part of this project, this amazing platform. This afternoon, I'll be discussing with Llaima Sanfiorenzo from Puerto Rico, and please let's welcome Llaima.
Start.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, Llaima.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Lockdown Salon, Virtual Salon, and everybody behind this amazing project. It's my pleasure to be part of it.
Well, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon, Llaima. But before we begin, I'd like to express a huge thanks precisely to those who are supporting this event, the Catapult partners, including the American Friends of Jamaica, Kingston Creative, and Fresh Milk for making this all these series of salons happen. Please feel free to ask your questions and your comments in the comment section during the talk. We will get them in the Q&A segment of the salon, and please subscribe to the Fresh Milk YouTube channel where all of these encounters are being held, so you can see them. Again, thank you for being with us, Llaima. Welcome again. I would like to start this conversation by asking you to introduce yourself and to tell us a little bit of your studies, your background, your international experiences, your academic background. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yes, for this hour, I was preparing a bit, the inspiration for the work I do and what things are important for me and how I have drawn a career of things that matters for us. How you call it, this social art, but at the same time, very important to be empathic wherever the story of our world moves. I'm here in the island of Puerto Rico. I'm a Puerto Rican artist. I finished my studies in literature and in the Universidad de Puerto Rico. And then I went to the film school in San Antonio de los Baños in Cuba. So I learned the art of filmmaking with a concentration in documentary. The film school in Cuba, it's just an oasis of people, of knowledge, of connections, of life until the day of today. This is my working crew after 10 years graduating from there. And I won the scholarship from there to Germany. So I finished doing 1 year of exchange in Germany in the film school, specializing in camera. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities I have had to to really mature in terms of technical skills that brings me a bit further into the work I want to do. And yes, and then I lived 5 years in Berlin after studying, and I was working already with refugees. We made a nice queer and beyond project with queer, non-binary people. Very, very interesting, amazing opportunity to give voice also to these people that are still fighting every day for being recognized as citizens, right?
That's great. I would like to ask you, what are you up to these days? Like, what's your work about? What's happening with your projects lately in the last few days? Like, what are you working precisely like right now?
Thank you, Alex, for the question. So I have to say it, but because it's part of our history right now, after Hurricane Maria, there was like a very uncertainty what we do, how's our jobs going to look like. And I woke up this morning really thinking about the people in Honduras, you know, because we just lived the hurricane, and these are the things that triggers a bit my work, no? I mean, this empathy, what's happening, who's living what, how's humanity going further with all the changes also the earth is having. So after Hurricane Maria, there was initiative from Puerto Rican artists based in Chicago. So I'm part of this initiative, Puerto Rican Art Initiative. And we were 2 years preparing project. And I went back to a bit of my roots of dancing and video art. And for me, video art is like a battery. It's like a battery of it's renewable energy for me, for my soul as an artist, because social engagement sometimes takes a lot of your thoughts, of your dreams, when you're working every day with people. So for me, video art is this place where I renew. So I work in an experimental video performance piece, and it's going to release now in 2021. And as part of this kind of, you know, mentoring for these 2 years, I also finished 2 videos that I had started in 2007. I think we can see a bit of the photos. This is my latest work right now. Is presenting the Contemporary Art Museum. This what we see here is the exhibition, like while we are just putting it all together at the museum here in Puerto Rico. And Contemporary Art Museum, the MAC. So this is a video with these bodies without a head. This video I made in 2007. And it's a video where I asked 9 dancers to be naked in this white space. It was a studio, without ending, you know, like, and we used a dolly and a very high, you know, professional camera system. And the aim was to tell them they are totally free to be naked. We will not see their heads, never. But they need to stay in the 1 square foot. So it's like how the freedom is always, you know, determined by something. Mm-hmm. Can be space, can be time. But this was the thing with this video. It was to portray freedom as something utopic. And of course, you know, a lot of things had happened after that. And then the other video is that we'll see in the next photo, I think better, is the buey, the ox that we use here in Puerto Rico to do the agriculture. So there are animals that are made for working. As you can see in the background, here's Raquel Torres Arzola, is the curator. There we are. This is 2 months ago, just, checking there and at the museum. So this beast, is the name of this piece is Let the Beast Breathe. So this beast, also we don't show the face, the head, and it's like an enigma. What kind of living beast is that is just living? So this is a beast we use to work the earth here, and the sustainable way we do agriculture. And I wanted to portray, what's happening when these beasts are in peace, are just being alive. Yeah. And yeah,
So how do you go back and forth with this with video art, and also do you work also with like projects socially engaged with communities, and I'm very interested in getting to know how do you go back and forth, and how do you transition from this project to the Selfportrait Factory methodology, and social international projects, and you go back and video making in the last 10 years of your practice.
Yes, thank you for that. As I said before, this is a more younger practice that I had doing the video art. This is how I started. Actually, this video I made between finishing literature and starting filmmaking. So let's say I didn't know anything about filmmaking when I did this first video. So I was already working only with images that I took out of philosophy, of history, of literature, of my preparation. So I was just like doing this transition between images and texts, right? And then after finishing the film school in Cuba, I went to the countryside. I spent there a few days, and I came up with this methodology that I had started already in Cuba. But then I put it together and I said, wow, it's amazing if as a documentary filmmaker, I can go directly to the heart of the people and do it better, like as an interaction, as a collaboration with the subject, and not like me always just having always all the questions. People have questions about themselves also. So based on that, I started this project where I call it the Selfportrait Factory. Once I was in Berlin, I came up with a name because it became a methodology that I can just apply and in different groups of people that had something in common. So this became the project. The project starts running alone. Right now it's 11 years I'm doing this project. And as I told you yesterday, it's like my, bread and butter project, but in a good way. I don't do commercials. I don't work in projects that I am not engaged with. So I'm very grateful for that. And I went for example, to the Sahara Desert with the refugees with this project as a teacher of the film school in the Sahara. But then I came with the methodology, because the methodology is like 13 steps where we go in the first part of the workshop on writing exercises, letting ourselves to know ourselves in order to write a little screenplay that tells the author, who I am or how I want to present myself or my world around. So this project we have around 85 films finished. You can visit. We have like a ongoing, like you said, ongoing webpage where we are trying to put all of that together. Of course, these projects are funded by different organizations in Berlin, in Colombia. I work a lot in Colombia, also traveling from Berlin to Colombia. I work now that I'm in Puerto Rico 5 years ago. I've done a lot of workshops here, and I always work with somebody from the community. I always invite other directors. So actually, I had the idea of being in Berlin to do a nice portrait of the Caribbean you know, like our dream is go to the islands and have these portraits, because as I told you, you say, okay, what's your goal with this project? So the goal is do this project for the next 40 years and make an archive of the humanity looked by themselves, and one day be at the MoMA with a selection of those as a visual anthropology applied project. And this is my passion, let's say. But in the video art, I find some structure for myself. Let's say everything can be a self-portrait, but then again, like resting into poetic images.
I wonder if we have this video coming up here. Do we have this video?
I think there's a
Yes.
self-portrait trailer around.
Yeah, I think
from
we should.
2015. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to take a look.
This is my room, and I live here.
So this workshop is it's practically a school that you take to places on teaching people how to reflect by producing art, but also you are there to and this is of course this is a part of a much bigger archive, as you said, a project that involves at the end hopefully we will have a kind of human
Archive.
No? Of
A portrait, a big portrait. You know what, Alex? It's amazing what you're saying, because yes, my friend and editor Juan David Soto Taborda, a great editor based in London, he's part of the project. And one thing we're doing is we are bringing quality to the stories of normal people. You know, we're so much thrilled to hear that social videos are always like, oh, I'm sorry, it has these problems. You know, you always hear when you go to a social project to film, sorry for the sound, sorry for this, sorry for that. So we don't want to say sorry. You know, we want to show we want to show respect for the stories of these people, and that's why we also work with a professional crew that assures, you know, and professional cameras and everything. So it's a bit triggering this anthropological view into film. And also we go to festivals with this series. So it's also like these people, for example, let's say the refugees in Berlin coming from different parts of Africa, they told me at the beginning, they said, Llaima, we approve you a new project, yes, because we have made one before and was a success. So we approve you a new project with 3 times the budget, and in Berlin, which is always low budget stuff in Berlin. But anyway, I was like, and then they said, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do that, because they don't know how to write or read. And I said, like we can just draw everything. So we did everything drawing, and they can tell the stories. And of course they they know more of geopolitics than anybody else. I mean, let's not face it as a problem, but as something we want to use in favor of the films. And these films were, they were living in this plaza, and these films were showed in the cinema in front of the plaza. So it's also how you change the hierarchy of power. One day you are a refugee in a plaza, sleeping, in the snow, in a tent. The other day you are just 100 meters in front, standing in front of a German public saying you are a director of a film. So this is also very important for me, like how we present this as an opportunity to people to show their films. I also do this in film schools, but of course we go a bit more. It's more kind of challenging the workshop because, we have to push the students a bit more. So I use other theories of other, books and everything. But as you see also, I also work with kids. And kids are amazing, and they do also amazing films. So I have a respect for all the path of lives that we have.
Great. Well, if welcome again. Just in case that you have just joined us, we are discussing with Llaima Sanfiorenzo from Puerto Rico, and this is the CATAPULT Lockdown Virtual Salon, and we are. Feel free to put your comment, ask your comments in the comment section, and we will go and look at them very very soon in the Q&A segment. Again, Llaima, I believe there's a project that you've been working also with a different perspective, but yet a social project. It's the one that you've been working in prisons. How this project happened, and tell us a little bit about what are you doing this time?
Yes, this project is finally ready. It took us like 4 years because, again, it's I was just grabbing budgets from different parts. I got support from NALAC, National Latino artists in the US. Like very putting from everywhere in order to pay my crew, basically, to assure this what we are looking for. So this project in jail, in prison, I asked first for the admission to go in and make with 6 women, make like a little project and see how it is going. But then when I arrived there, there were 42 women sitting. And I said, like, wow, this is, it's a lot of work because we do a lot of exercises. Everybody take the camera, everybody get a little technical capacitation on sound. Depends how much time we have for the workshop. I have done workshops of 1 week or so. So, it depends of what the people are asking for. And then I said, well, let's do it. Let's give them the opportunity. Let's start drawing. Let's start writing. And then I realized is that they were given 4 days less in their penalties because of being with me this hour. So they don't want to miss. They want to miss the meeting with me. So I said, okay, well, let's help also on this. And so we finished doing, that's why it took me so long. We finished doing 14 little stories, but not really like a story, Aristotelic story, like beginning, conflict, end, but more like, okay, how whatever they want to tell, because this is also the freedom of the workshop. Even if I know something as a director, as a Llaima, and I said, well, this is interesting, we have to work with this. I have to renounce to that as a director. No, I am not there to push towards what I think is important. I am there to leave the road open for them to tell what is important for them. So what I did in this documentary, which is it's now like we are running for festivals and stuff. So also feel free to ask if you have a presentation around. It's gonna get also like English subtitles. It's a 40 minutes piece. So we put all together, and we put also part of the process. So we don't miss these moments of very, them telling how's their life inside prison. And one important thing in this documentary is I never ask them why they are there. So it's like the people that have seen the documentary is always asking me, but I went to see the documentary with a bit of morbo, I have to admit, because I want to know what they did, to be there. Also because they're women. It's very different to be a woman in prison, to be a man. The relations of women with the world and what they left behind and what they left outside, like telling kids and families, but it's very strong. And I think we have the trailer also to show it. It's 1 minute 50 seconds. And one thing why I don't want to ask them why they are there is because they were already judged. And I don't want to judge them again with the camera. They are already paying. So this is just a window to express, to share other stuff, like the crime you did is a part of your life. Your life continues as, there's a lot of spectrums. And the second reason why I didn't ask is because I cannot help. So, I'm not going to go there and ask, why you're asking. Are you going to help me going out? Or so I was already helping in the way I could. I gave some letters. There was a woman that became the camera of most of the films because I was alone. I didn't have permission to go with another of my crew. So I had to teach them how to use the camera. So all the cameras made by them and by me. But one of them told me like, wow, teacher, I know now what I want to do with my life. I want to be a photographer. And this is beautiful,
Absolutely. I wonder if I think we have it. Let's go for the trailer and we'll continue this talk after.
Móntalo por atrás, así. Así mismo, ahí. Atrás.
Cámara lista, sonido listo, escenador, toma 2. Dejar la página.
Estira la mano, estira la mano. No, que digas adiós. Estírala al frente.
En 5 años nunca he cogido una cámara así de grande. Me sentí como que fuera del cárcel, fuera, libre, como esto sentí libre.
So you are literally giving them wings to imagine and to produce something outside those the environment and their actual the bars. So I find it very interesting, and how this can, in your approach, how can you produce an artwork through teaching others to also to how to do it and with their own perspective. So this is something that I think has a high value.
Yes, the wings were like in all of the drawings you saw at the beginning. This is an animation of one of her drawings. So, I mean, maybe this is what has the most value economically in the documentary, is how much we pay to did these animations of their drawings. But it's very important for me, also very empowering for them, you know, every step, and how beautiful they are. And the wings were everywhere, you know. They draw superheroes with wings. They asked me to bring some wings for this shot at the end, because she said, like, oh, I cannot do my short film because it's an angel that I dream all the time, and this is impossible. And I said, no, that's why we are here. Let's make it possible. So I brought a blue screen, and it's, you know, it was so much fun. And I was, I did already like a little tour with the documentary on different law institutions, like universities, to students. And it was very interesting what they were saying, like for them is very touching or very important to see them in this kind of mess, because this is like a freedom for them. Because they're always like, now you come here, now you do this line, now you eat, now you go there, now this one here, this one over there. So they said, like, wow, just seeing them doing like a mess, you know, with no direction. This was so beautiful. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about showing this documentary. It says, I mean, it's directed by me, but then in the credits it's like in collaboration with all of them, because of course, you know, is the story we did together.
To give them credit, of course. And what do you?
Yes,
what
the
do
first
you-
credit is them. I mean, it's important. They when you are in jail, you are private. ¿Cómo se llama? Privado. You don't have your rights anymore, right? So I wanted to also like work a bit on this intertext of, you know, the construction, who is free, who to do what or to say what.
And they build the whole story, their own stories with a storyline and everything. Like they this is part of the
Exactly. We do a storyboard. It's one of the methodologies. So we do a storyboard at the end, which is helping a lot on the process of filming. So the storyboard will have somebody else that is kind of the assistant director. So we are playing a bit of the roles of the fiction into documentary, because sometimes we are also, how you see, we are also creating like fictional or memories, or in this case, because we could only shoot the whole documentary in one room. You know, we could not go all around the prison or anything. So it was very challenging. I mean, how we are gonna like do all of this here, and we did it. So and I show them first, of course, with the first first editing cut. And I said, are you okay with this? Somebody doesn't want to be, because you didn't, you know, you don't, of course I have paper signed by them before shooting. But then I gave them again the option to say, no, I better don't want to be part. There was a lot of them that didn't want to be in front of the camera. And of course they are behind the camera. So this all of these little things very important to respect, to do this collaboratory filmmaking, participatory filmmaking, which is something that is coming now out as a thrill thing to do. I've read something around.
That's great. I wonder how you see that through your work you're trying to somehow, or how do you, the notion of being in the Caribbean, the notion of being in an island, how do you think this is alive in your work, or how do you connect with your environment? I know that you for example, you live in a farm, or you've been living in a farm practically all your life, while in Puerto Rico, from this inner part of the island, then you went to study abroad and also study in other parts of Puerto Rico. But then, how do you feel that your work echoes from a certain context or comes back to your origins?
Well, as you said, I grew up in a farm, and now we moved into this place, it was our dream house since 4 years, and we made it. We have 2 kids, small, so it was time to settle down. I cannot keep traveling, and I traveled already 10 years. Let's say I went everywhere. I was alone in the Sahara Desert with a soldier next to me all the time because I have a US passport. So these things kind of, when you have 2 years old kids, you don't think about doing that. So I kind of, we are settled down now, and I'm working now in in new concepts of documentary filmmaking. I am continuing with the Selfportrait Factory and looking for projects that has, a value, or for example, developing, in my head, and some writings and researching about, communities based on the shore, for example, shore of the island that is being eaten by the ocean, and how climate change and self-portrait can go together, because I try to put also always social thing and the world we live, But for example, now the film I did as my self-portrait with the Northwestern University is I love it how it came out, because it came out of rehearsing and everything, and the film that is going to come exactly after the film of Prison Out. The film starts with 2 women that escape from a kind of jail laboratory. So for me, this project connects in that way. It's not that I'm saying, you should escape jail, because this is a performing art, and it's based also on the theme of militarism that we lived here in the island, of Vieques. And this film is based on that memory. So I am basically now looking into memories to concrete these films that I had always, that I wanted always to do. So Vieques, militarism, uranium contamination, and the way we free the island, because I was inside the military base, being stopping the bombs, as 2,000 other people were. So this part of my life now, I want to come together into a film. Might be a fiction film, might be a documentary film, but first start with this performative memory that I shoot, and there's some photos there also to show the last 4 photos.
It's incredible how you kind of mix so many topics, the body, the freedom, anti-militarism, poetry, literature. Like, there's so many things happening in the scope of
I don't watch TV. That's the secret. I don't watch
you made everything up.
I don't have time.
I wonder if we have any questions from the audience. We would love to have them here. Let's say author girl 44. Thanks, Llaima. It's important to be sensitive to the situation and agency of others. After the workshop and film screening, do you have an ongoing relationship with those that you have worked with? This is a great question.
Yes, it's the most important part of documentary filmmaking. Sometimes you go into the house, you're super nice, you bring food, you bring whatever, because you want the story, because you want them to be in your camera, and then you go out of the door to edit, you forget them. And there has been a lot of things together with the people that I have worked with. First of all, for example, these kids in Colombia, we worked there. I moved there for 5 weeks. And once we finished, we start moving these videos. We're 12 videos. We start moving them in festivals. And it was amazing. They won first prize of the film festival in Colombia. Of course, I was in Berlin. So they go by themselves, pick up their thing. And, you know, this is empower for them also. And I'm already working other stuff, but then I'm on the call. I'm looking how you're doing, you know, how you're feeling, how was this, how was that. And until the next day, I mean, this was 10 years ago. The next day, one of them just wrote me, "Oh, I got a baby, you know, how are you doing?" I mean, you always give a bit of feedback. People in Sahara always taking them, trying to, because one thing that people in Sahara told me was like, please go and show our stories. Go show the people we exist, you know, otherwise people will forget us because we are here refuge in the middle of nothing, surrounded by nothing, which is the desert. So for example, I had a TV show here because I got to work. I studied TV, so I made 26 TV programs and for the public broadcast here. And I interviewed them. We did like 3 times trying to get connection in the desert, you know, with all of them, and we made it. And these are the ways I stay in contact with them. And now with the pandemic, I work with a group of kids here with the most contemporary art museum also in one location. And of course, very poor people. I mean, impovered. They are not poor by themselves. No, they are impovered by the system. So we worked there, and I got a emergency fund that they made here, and I couldn't stop thinking, you know, I couldn't have done this work without them. So I went and brought like a big bag of food for every of them. You know, they were 5, so I went there. Okay, here, you know, here's my grant. Share with you because you share with me. So it's a matter of sharing and just being very transparent all the time.
Great. I think we have another question. Here we go. Annalie Davis. The Selfportrait Factory speaks about technology as democracy, but the digital divide is also very real. How do you bridge that technological division?
Well, there's always the question, for example, if we should bring 1 camera per person and leave it there. I mean, or if the technology should stay with them. And I think the experience, it goes beyond the acquiring of technology by themselves. I think the experience goes through manage of information, manage of identity, and this democracy that I'm talking about through also our expertise somehow. And this is what I said at the beginning. I believe they, for example, I have of these people that participate with us. I have one of the refugees that were in that moment in Berlin. He stayed being the director of documentary of that organization where I worked. And this is the empowering of bringing technology. I mean, he doesn't need the camera yet. What he needed was the other part, the empowering, the how I do it, the how I direct, you know, how we move, how we think, how, you know, how we sit, slow down, think, see, capacitation. And now he's working there, and this is amazing, you know. And then I got a few of the people being in the workshop are using these videos to go into film schools, or, you know, to win another scholarships. You know, we have people coming out of difficult mental situations because they think, oh, you know, I don't fix anywhere. And then they realize, yeah, there's something I can tell. And it's not doing film only. There's people studying psychology. There's people doing, you know, cultural environment for other people. So I think democracy and technology, as we have seen now, and a bit mixed with, you know, with politics into technology, it's like our big job to deconstruct that with Derrida and the deconstruction. But it's our job to really look into what is important, what we need. I had a project that didn't won, but was I made it for the UNESCO, and I wanted to go, and I had them like 6 shamans from the Amazon, that they do their self-portrait, and these are not people that are necessarily together with technology. But I remember that year, this was already like 10 years ago, that I applied. I should apply it again. But this year, there was only 6 projects being picked up by the UNESCO, and they pick up 2 projects in different parts of the world that were based off clowns. So I said, well, maybe this is the year of the clowns, let's give them also the opportunity.
Again, I think we have a third question.
Annalie, thank you for the question. I hope was more or less in the direction you wanted to work with.
Catherine Kennedy, as coordinator of the Laboratory and Film Market at Santo Domingo Film Festival, my hometown. Can you tell us about how this platform developed and how does that work? Does it have a Caribbean reach?
Thank you, Catherine. I'm working in this festival now 6 years ago. I travel there every January. It's a very unique place and moment of my year. I worked there with Tanja Vallet, which was the director of the film school in Cuba when I was there. So we became, very together. And 6 years ago, she started this laboratory. It's a place where people have to send their projects in development, and they will have like 5 days with other professionals, looking at your project, what it is to do, doing questions. We have master classes. It's during the film festival of Festival de Cine Global de la República Dominicana. So this experience is amazing because this laboratory is kind of specific for Caribbean filmmaking. So everybody that is watching, please, stay tuned with this festival and look after. They are in Realport, I think. So you can always put your film to compete into this platform of laboratory. And there I'm just coordinating, I coordinate everything, who go first, who go after. I also do the pitch class. It's an amazing oasis, again, for me to meet my colleagues who are doing amazing films in Cuba, in Santo Domingo, in, as we said now, also in Honduras, in Mexico. We go a bit further, Colombia. So it's a place to develop projects. And of course, I take advantage of every experience I have to keep working and keep going on my projects.
Well, personally, I think this is your projects have the opportunity to also to give others to kind of do a ripple effect and reproducing a kind of echo by having these first when they enter in contact with you and your first idea, but then after they develop their own projects within the scope of these workshops, and I'm so happy to hear that there's a few that they're now involved in this.
It's in a way a catapult also. I love the catapult concept because it's
absolutely.
How much the catapult is expanding back. It depends on how much back goes, how much further you go. Absolutely.
I am so happy that we have had this talk this afternoon. I don't know if you want to say anything.
I want to show the last photos of the last project
please.
Coming, because it's a very important project for me. I shaved my hair. I went into a 1 year really development of my dancing again. And, after having 2 babies, was very challenging for me and very important, this project for me, for myself, for my artistic.
Can we see these pictures?
Yes, they are exactly. This is and it's a film about these two women. You don't know, I mean, they're kind of androgynous that escape from this laboratory where they're being kind of used, you know, you don't really know, but then they are running to look about this. And this part is in a salt place in the south of Puerto Rico, and it's also portraying the island. And answering your question of before, it's a moment where I said, okay, now we escape from the laboratory, now we are running all around the island, but then once you reach the ocean, there's no more escaping for a human being, you know, like that's it. I mean, unless you have like a helicopter or something. So I am working also with this concept of the shore of the island, you know, like where is the end of your escaping possibilities, and then how you have to then move towards escaping from another. I think there's another photo. Here we are doing. This is like a dream inside the film where we are kind of dying of thirst. And this is me with my photography director, who also studied in the film school in Cuba, is Puerto Rican, lives here. So I'm now working with her. And then I have also a production manager there. And yeah, so, and next photo. And these are these dresses I made with a kite, a surfing kite that somebody gave me. So I love them because they are very, you know, kind of modern but plastic, and you know, as a contrast between what we see. And this is also one of the shots on the ocean when we arrive. The ocean, it's a 20 minutes piece, 17 minutes video, and I'm gonna release it next year in February. So I guess I will send you all an email. It's the release party. And this is again the crew. There's also my brother, who's always helping and everything. He also works as a camera assistant here. So, and there's another photo, I think, or this is the last. Well, these are us. We find some kind of bottles, and this is a memory from when I was in Vieques, because we actually found bottles of water under the sand in our third day inside the base without being caught by the militaries. So we found this water, and for me it was like a miracle I wanted to portray also in this film. And there was also like a, you know, in the Hurricane Maria, this water bottles signifies something, because they found thousands of them, you know, that were not given to the people. So very important, all of these little symbols to bring them up.
Thank you, Llaima. Thank you so much. I just want to, well, this has been a great talk. Any last comments? We're wrapping up.
Thank you. No, that was great. We are 59 minutes, 34 seconds.
Guys, thank you so much. Please remember to tune in again this afternoon at 4 p.m. I will be discussing with Aruba-based artist Samuel Sarmiento. And again, I want to express a huge thanks to Catapult partners, including the American Friends of Jamaica, Kingston Creative, and Fresh Milk for making this happen. Thank you. See you later, and goodbye.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Catapult. Thank you, Friends of Jamaica and Fresh Milk. Such a pleasure for me.
Gracias.
Gracias a todos y todas.